In this lesson we're going to look at vectors, what a vector is and how to write it down, what notation to use. So the first thing we need to know about a vector is it's really there to deal with direction in space, particularly 3D space, although we'll start vectors in 2D. So it says here a vector is a quantity with both magnitude and direction, so it has a size and a direction. If you're explaining a pathway from one point to another, you can say how fast you were going or how much force was applied and also what direction it was going in. So things that would be accepted as vectors I've given here: velocity of a river flowing southeast with a speed of 12 kilometers per hour. The velocity of something has a speed and it also has a direction, therefore it's a vector. The velocity of an aeroplane as well also has speed, that's the magnitude of the size, in miles per hour, kilometers per hour, and also a direction applied to it. Gravity is also a vector because it's acceleration, which is a quantity, has a size, and it also has a direction pulling towards the earth. So things that are not vectors are things without any direction really. These are called scalar quantities. So a scalar quantity has only size and no direction. So the mass of an apple, you can put a figure value to that, the time to read a book, and of course the speed of a car. And if you like Knight Rider at all, I grew up with Knight Rider, there's the theme tune for you. I better stop it. Right, let's get back to the maths. Right, so how is a vector represented? Well, there's two ways to do it. We can denote a vector with capital letters either side of the line. A vector's denoted with this line with a wee arrow to show direction. And we can use A and the B either side of this. So we could name it AB and we put a wee line across the top. That's called a direct line segment. Or we can also use a small case letter to denote the vector. This small case letter here can either be denoted in bold, which is easy on a computer but impossible to do it on your jotters, so it's best to underline. So when you see a bold letter here, to translate that into your jotter work, make sure you underline it. A vector may also be represented in component form. This is component form here, this idea of the components 1 and 2. So vector AB, or we can call it V, there's a wee underline in your jotters, is 1, 2. Notice it's up and down the way, like in a column format, rather than side by side as you would see in coordinates. So how do we get the 1, 2? Well, we start at the bottom of the vector, because the vector is travelling up here, and we go along 1 and up 2 boxes to get to the end of the vector. So this is your starting point, it's travelling up here, and we go along 1 and up 2. If we were going from C to D, we would start at C, and if we wanted to write it in column format, we'd go along 4 places and down 3. Notice that going down has created a negative number here. The things that create negatives are the same ideas in the coordinate grid or a Cartesian plane. We go backwards to get negatives and down to get negatives. This way, right or forwards makes positive and up's also positive. This vector here, 4 along, 3 up, so it's 4, 3. Something that some people do confuse it with is gradient. We're not talking about the gradient of a line here. We're talking about a line which shows how big the vector is, which tells you the size of it. We'll come to that later. And also direction, what direction you're moving in. It's not gradient. Okay, so to demonstrate this here, we can use a knight on a chessboard. Now a knight moves in an L shape. There's a horse there. So when we move the knight, you can either move 2 left and then 1 up, or 2 right and 1 up, or 1 left or right and 2 up or down. So if I want to get from where the knight is up to B, I would move along 1 and up 2. So to get from K to B, if you like, it would be 1, 2. And we can write these in component form. So K to C, you can see here, I've done this one here, it's 2 along and 1 up. And if we wanted to go to F, that would be -1, -2. So KF, if you like, would be -1 and -2. And G would be -2, -1. If you wanted to go to D, you would do 2 along, -1. So 2 at the top and a -1 this time.